Hi, I'm Travis.
And I'm Greg.
And you're listening to Building Blank,
a collaborative world-building podcast.
And today we're talking about cities.
Yeah, and where you can place them.
All right, and today we're talking about cities.
Yeah, and where we put them and, why you putting them there.
All right, so first off, I just want to apologize for any sound quality issues. Again, we are in lockdown right now, so we are recording remotely. I got Greg on Zoom.
Hello.
And so stay safe, everybody, and let's get into it. So, what are we doing, Greg?
All right, I think I could summarize the whole episode with just one word, Travis.
Yeah.
Just rivers. Everything we're going to do cities today, and everything I look up and researched it, just everybody's talking about rivers.
Okay. So it's good that we already did rivers.
Yeah, exactly. It's a kind of a perfect transition.
Perfect. All right, cool. So what do you want to tell me about river cities?
Well, I don't know. Should we go over some of the...
A lot bigger than you would find in the country. Most cities are probably trade hubs with easy travel access. And of course, they'll have region-specific amenities. So like a coastal city is probably a port. Forest or plain cities probably, they're probably on a river, or at least have military control of a river, making it a hub. And yeah, that's pretty much my basic rundown of what a city is.
Yeah, and we covered that before in our, was that like episode 1?
Yeah, 1 or 2, I think.
Yeah, and so that's just a refresher. But what about some of our favorite cities?
All right, so ones that come to mind immediately, the Ba Sing Se from Avatar: The Last Airbender is a good example of a big city. How about you? A coastal and river city.
Yep. And for anybody that knows Patrick Rothfuss and his what the hell, Kingkiller Chronicles, there's Tarbine.
Okay.
It's another coastal city. Don't know if there's a river. There probably is.
Yeah, I still need to read that. I haven't gone around to that yet.
I think his new book's coming up soon, or it is already out. I'm not too sure. I'm losing complete track of all time.
It's okay. And then some other examples are Solitude or Windhelm in Skyrim are good examples of coastal cities, as well as Waterdeep in Forgotten Realms is like the city in Forgotten Realms.
Right. That's the big cheese.
Yeah.
All right. Then how about what's a city in your world? Like the one not Building Blank?
Oh, okay. So I have a couple. I have, I think, 4 that are like built. 2 of which are in my empire, which is Port Aquila and the Imperial City. One of them is on a river. The Imperial City is on a river and the coast. And Port Aquila is on the opposite side of the same peninsula, but there's no river. It's a bunch of like islands and canals that kind of like serve as a bulwark or like a defense for the southern part of the seas.
Cool. Yeah, so it makes sense, but there's a reason it's there, right?
Yeah. So like it serves as a trade hub, but also as like that's where like the main military fleets are.
Yeah, we went there. There's that what's that citadel called?
Eagle's Fortress.
Yeah. Playing on the Aquila.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's called the Bay of Eagles, and it's this whole like eagle theme there.
Yeah, a lot of good iconography there, but you're basing it off Rome, right?
Yeah, so that whole empire is based on Rome, so there's a lot of Roman iconography.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I only have like 3 cities, and they all happen to be on a river, and I didn't even really think about it. I was just like, oh yeah, of course we would go there.
Yeah.
But they're all just super rough because I'm still just trying to get my book done.
Yeah.
But now that we're doing this world building, it's just sucking me in. Like the more I'm just going down that rabbit hole more and more. But so just like my main city right now is Lythar.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, thank you. I don't even know why I named it that. But
sounds really
I named
cool.
it that like 2 years ago. So
cool.
Yeah. And then, so do you want to hear some stuff?
Sure. Yeah. Teach me.
Okay. So basically, there's a reason that everybody's putting cities on rivers in their worlds, and why it's happening on our world, obviously, too.
Okay.
But so the main thing is fresh water. People need water, right?
Yeah.
And so surface water is just the easiest to have access to, right?
Yeah, of course.
And just it's just right there. It just makes the most sense. So we don't need to talk about that anymore. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is food.
Okay.
They need to eat. And rivers have those beautiful floodplains, right? And then that equals fertility and farming.
Okay.
And
very important.
Yeah, which is obviously not exclusive to rivers.
Yeah.
But it's just, with everything else, and then on top of that, it's fertile. It's like, well, why not?
Yeah.
And then fishing is good, especially like right at the mouth of a river on the ocean.
Yeah.
Like the I think, what are they called off of like Nova Scotia or Newfoundland there? The Grand Banks or anyway, where the water is just kind of a little shallower on the continental shelf before it goes deep into the ocean. That's just really good fishing. And then obviously in the river as well.
Yeah.
So then the third thing is the trade and transportation. And then depending on your setting, travel could also basically equal communication. Like your travel might only be going as fast as a person can go.
Yeah.
So, you're going to want to go
as fast as you can, right?
And ships on rivers and oceans was just the best and safest way to do it most of the time, right?
Yeah, and depending on your setting too, is like you might not have communication faster than that either, right?
Yeah, exactly. But you might, and that might be a reason why you don't really not too worried about ships and stuff. But
so, like in a high magic setting, you wouldn't really need to bother, right? Because the communication and everything is pretty instantaneous.
Yeah. I'm reading Lord of the Rings again, of course. And I just got to the point where they get the Palantir.
Yeah.
And I love that. I also like that they lose it, but basically just like seeing stones so they could govern the whole empire of Gondor. Or anyway, we'll just call it Gondor.
Yeah.
And then that's an example of how you can use magic to communicate. But anyway, another thing, the fourth thing is rivers are a good source of power.
Okay.
Or just like motion, right? And so use that water to power little mills and basically anything with a little turbine. Or, maybe your dwarves are like crazy engineers and they've figured out how to make maybe not electric, but like a dam,
Yeah.
And then the last thing is just some plain old defense. If I'm on one side of the river and you're on the other, you're gonna have a hard time coming to get me.
Yeah.
And then if you're on both sides of the river and somebody attacks you, like in Osgiliath, you can throw down the bridge.
That's how you make sure that they're staying 6 feet away from you.
Yeah. Just build on the other side of a river.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was it. I was doing a bunch of research and looking things up, and it was just fresh water, food, trade and transportation, power, and defense. Are
all good reasons to put on a river.
Yeah.
All right. So what if you're not putting it on a river, then why what other reasons why would you put would you put a city there?
Yeah. It's a good question, right? Like it's your world. There are cities that aren't on rivers. There's cities like maybe you don't even. Well, I was going to say maybe you don't have rivers, but that'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah. So the other thing I just want to point out is like you don't have to. It's your world, so you don't have to follow any of these things. These aren't hard, fast rules. These are just suggestions, right? And
yeah, I like to like with an absence of what am I trying to say here? Like if I don't have a good reason for it not to be there, I like to just start on kind of like the real world basic rules almost. And then change it from there.
Yeah, I like being a little bit more believable and having some of this information helps with that. I tend to do like a mix of both. Like some of my cities that I've made that are big cities are not on rivers.
Yeah.
But there's reasons for it, right? There's always a reason for a city to be a city rather than just a small town or something.
And I don't think when we used to play D&D, right?
Yeah.
Where everything got all shut down, nobody ever came into one of your cities and said, "Hey, what? There's no river here. What's going on?"
No one ever pointed it out.
And if they did, you could just say, "Oh yeah, there's groundwater, aquifers."
Sure.
You know, because that's the first thing, right? You need fresh water.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like if your story doesn't talk about it, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But you know, if you like doing maybe a little bit of the harder world building, then yeah, aquifers are basically a good reason to, or a good way to get fresh water when you're not on a river or when you don't have surface water.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, that's just when a water-bearing rock transmits water to wells and springs is all it is. Basically just means there's water in the ground.
Good.
Yeah. And then the groundwater recharges when it rains.
Yeah.
And if you pump up too much water, it can draw down the water and even run dry.
Yeah.
So you could even do that as like a plot thing, like that movie Rango, when Johnny Depp was a lizard.
Okay, yeah, I remember that movie.
Yeah, it's basically the whole plot. Sorry for spoilers there. It's a classic.
All right. So other reasons. So food, like how are you feeding the city?
Yeah, and like we said before, you can farm. You don't have to be on a river to farm.
Yeah.
So there's still that, and there's obviously livestock.
Yeah, hunting,
and depending where you are, like you could be on a coast and not be on a river, and you can still fish there, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, and then so in terms of trade and transportation, that's such a big deal, especially for a city. If your city's not on a river, it may be between two like giant cities on a trade route or something.
Yeah, or a crossroads halfway point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
and kind of just develop that way.
Yeah, so a lot of it also like depending on your technology level in your world. If you have say like trains or that thing, you can have a city basically anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a metal river, isn't it?
Yeah, basically. Because I know a lot in Canada, a lot of cities started popping up after the railway was built or during the railway being built.
Yeah, just railway fever.
Yeah,
a lot of boom. And then maybe they just don't like boats or don't use them.
Yeah,
like the Dothraki or the Rohirrim.
Yeah, because like the Dothraki, their city's like a weird one too, where it's not really a permanent city, but it is.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like
place.
Kind of what I based my Orcish city on, partly. So it's like a semi-permanent, more religious city.
Yeah, it's not domestic.
Yeah,
necessarily, and that's actually a good reason why it might not be on a river is for religious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, maybe there's a really cool natural wonder somewhere, that your people
that
have come to worship.
That you built around. Yeah.
Maybe not worship, but yeah, just built around. Yeah. And then for
or
power,
a defensive structure, right? Defensive features.
And then that's like your Portaquilla.
Yeah, like islands and canals.
Yeah. So then the fourth thing that rivers can give you is power, right? Like we said.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically I didn't look this up at all. So I was just thinking like, okay, what sources of power are there? There's water, wind, sun, and then basically just like burning.
Yeah.
Like fire.
Fire, which coal, would be like, wood.
Yeah. And so it's just basically motion and heat is power, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so again, depending on your level of technology, instead of river mills or powered by the water, you could just have a windmill.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably just the easiest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the sun is our greatest source of energy. It just gives an incredible amount of energy that we just are not able to utilize today even. And so maybe your people have found out a way to harness the sun somehow. Be kind of a cool, soft kind of magic, maybe even hard magic way of getting some sort of power.
Or maybe another thing I thought of, like specifically for fantasy, like maybe there's like some kind of magic well or magic nexus that you built around because you're using that for power, right?
That's funny. I was actually thinking that today. It's got a very similar thing.
Yeah, because that's like the plot of the elves in Warcraft. They built their cities around these like magic well springs.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not 100% certain on the lore, but that's the gist of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically like power.
Yeah, but like arcane.
Is it like a network as well, or no?
I think there's like ley lines and stuff.
Yeah, because that would just definitely change all the geography, right?
But that was the point of the sun elves, or not the sun elves, the blood elves, is like they were just like high elves, and then they were addicted to the Sunwell, they called it, and it was like the source of their arcane power. And then they got invaded, and the Sunwell was destroyed, and now they were like looking for a new source of arcane power because they're addicted to it, right?
What? That's what they are? They're all just a bunch of junkies?
Basically, yeah. And then
that's awesome.
The Horde took them in because the human kingdoms basically turned their back on them.
I think once all these exams and stuff are over, I'm going to try that World of Warcraft with you.
Yeah, it's fun. I like the lore. I like the story. But yeah, so
I'll definitely be a blood elf.
That's something there. Yeah, just be a junkie.
Yeah, it's not that far of a stretch. But anyway, yeah. So then you could just like have people burning things as a source of energy. You know, we still do it today. There's gasoline in our vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Just more burning things. Then there was coal in the Industrial Revolution, and before that, in the times we're kind of around, there's just straight old good old wood.
Yeah.
And then I kind of thought of like a dark one. It wasn't an original thought, but you could have like human power.
Okay.
And you could go kind of dark with it. And if anybody's watched that Black Mirror show, there's one episode where basically all the people all just ride bikes all day, those stationary bikes.
I've never seen Black Mirror.
No, well, I'm
I think I've watched like one episode.
I feel like everybody's watched one, at least one.
Yeah.
I think this is the only one I watched. But basically, yeah, they all just, their jobs are to pedal these bikes 8 hours a day or however long.
Okay.
And then and everybody's doing it, and that all gives power to their society.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
That reminds me of that Rick and Morty episode where like the inside of his car battery is like a mini world.
Oh yeah, the multiverse.
Yeah, and then they're like, jumping on these things to create power, but then like that world creates the same thing, and it's like just a mini world inside of a mini world inside of a mini world.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just were making fun of Black Mirror.
Yeah, that
Actually, forgot
reminds
about
me
that.
exactly of that episode. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so maybe you don't want to do that then, because everybody would be like, "Oh, it's like Rick and Morty. That's funny." When you're trying to make it like, not funny.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like you mentioned before, defense. Like, not only do you need to think about defense
Mm-hmm.
if you're not on a river,
Yeah.
but maybe the whole reason you're not on a river is because of defense.
Yeah. So like you're using some kind of like a valley or something. Like my Orcish city is built inside of a valley, so like there's only one way in and one way out.
Nice.
And it's all like cliffs and rocky, etc. You know.
Yeah. So if you're going in there, that'd be pretty foreboding.
Yeah, it's like a natural bottleneck.
Yeah. And then maybe if your city didn't have either of those, uh, like walls or river or anything like that,
Yeah.
they would definitely need a pretty big army
Mm-hmm.
or a place to retreat to, like Helm's Deep.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Methuseld, the capital there, it was a palisade wall.
Yeah.
It just wasn't going to stand up to the Urukai.
Yeah.
I don't think. But yeah.
Well, there's access on all sides, right? Even though it's like on a hill, like you can still come at it from all sides. Whereas Helm's Deep was like there's a way in.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was basically it. If you're not like, a river is like an easy way to put a city, and not only is it easy, just like it makes sense. Okay. But if you're not going to have one on a river, you need to think about some fresh water, some food. Well, you don't need to, obviously, right? But just things that might help you flesh it out a bit.
Yeah.
Some trade and transportation, power, and defense. Okay. And yeah, maybe you do have something like those elves in World of Warcraft with those arcane wells. What are they called? Anyway,
yeah. So with that, like, where do you start when you go to build a city? What do you do? What's your process?
Well, I didn't really have too much of a process. I had one of my first two ones that I built. I basically just I wanted one on either coast because it's kind of like this long peninsula, and then they just both happened to be on a river. And that was before I knew how crucial rivers were, apparently.
Yeah.
But now I've been working on my map, my overall world map.
Okay.
And so I kind of finished that, or finished like a rough version of it. And so now I'm just kind of going around looking at all the strategic places. So like the mouths of rivers, basically pinch points and like trade routes, like the overland trade routes. So I'm just looking at the whole world, and then just trying to find the strategic locations.
Okay.
Like there's a gap in the mountains that I didn't even intentionally put there, and I'm like, oh, hey, that's cool. That would definitely be a pinch point.
Yeah.
Can't really go around them because of where the jungle ends up being. You can't go north because it goes right to the coast. Yeah, so that's about it.
That's cool.
How about you?
So when I of course, like I think of like, what I want the point of the city to be, but then like when I'm making the map, I on the blank map, I loosely break up the districts I want. So in my map of Port Aquila, I made the islands and then like kind of drew out like this district here, this district there, and then each of these islands is a district. And then I put a couple of roads down, connecting them all, like how, okay, there's going to be a bridge here, a bridge there, or just connecting the districts if it's not, doesn't have water features. And then I zoom into a district, pick a crossroads, drop it in, and build the district from there. Typically, I'll have at least one, depending on the size of the city, at least one like poor district and one rich district. Mm-hmm. So like there's always like a, in my fantasy world, there's almost always a a difference in wealth equality. So there's always going to be a slum in most of my bigger cities, and then like some rich areas, and then a few middle class type, where each kind of district has its own purpose. So like, right. For example, if I pull up my map of Port Aquila, since we've been talking about Port Aquila, let me see here. Here it is. So when you come into town, there's Northgate, which is the real poor district, and it is on the mainland with Old Town. And Old Town is like like farmers and workers live there, and it's just like it's poor as well, but it's like slightly a little bit more. And then the other part on the mainland, if you go around to the other side of the bay, is Little Cardok, which is like little dwarven town.
Nice.
So it's like this little little dwarven community inside of the community, and their point is like the purpose of that district is like they do whatever industry, like they build. They're like the masons and the like weaponsmiths and stuff. And then the islands are broken up. I have the Temple Ward, which is like that's where the big temple is. The Willow Gardens is like a residential rich area. The Market Ward is a dedicated market area, like a bazaar. Most of my big cities have like a bazaar area.
Okay.
And then Aquilonia Plaza is like another richer area, but that's where the Thedian embassy is. That's where the Port Aquila campus for my magic college is. So it's like more accessible than the Willow Gardens, but like the Willow Gardens is strictly residential, whereas this other place has some like commercial purposes. And then of course the Eagles Fortress is its own island, is like this large military base.
Yeah. The thing I love about your maps and your process when you're doing it is the result is you get a very natural looking kind of organic grown city.
Thanks. Yeah. I put a lot of work into a couple of those maps. But I think with that, we're gonna go to break.
All right then. Cool.
Yeah. Well, so after we're gonna build a city or start building a city.
All right. Cool. I'm excited.
All right. See you after. All right, and welcome to the break.
All right, good to be here.
All right, so we just wanted to mention to you guys that we have launched a YouTube channel. Again, it's just Building Blank. And what we're doing is we are porting over our audio files, throwing our backdrop on it and just having it on YouTube. That way, if you know anyone who might want to listen but doesn't really use any of the podcasting apps, they can also just check it out on YouTube. So yeah, if you guys want to check that out, that's Building Blank on YouTube. We're going to be posting our episodes in chronological order twice a week until we catch up, which should be the end of December till we're at current.
Okay, cool. And then yeah, if you like anything, give us a like and subscribe. And
yeah, perfect. And if you want to reach out or want to come hang out with us or talk to us, or let us know anything that we missed or give us ideas, you can hit us up on Facebook, Building Blank, a collaborative world building podcast. You can hit us up on Instagram at Building Blank Podcast, or you could always send us an email at buildingblankpodcast@gmail.com. We really appreciate any feedback from you guys, and we always love to hear from you. So yeah, let us know. Thank you, and let's get back to the show.
All right, sounds good.
All right, and we're back.
All right, good to be back.
Perfect. So we're gonna build a city. Now, we're gonna have it on the Clearwater Rush, and I would like to put it on the ocean as well.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
Like where the ocean meets where the river meets the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect. So
And go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I had an idea or a name for a city, and it's pretty basic. But
Shoot.
Just let me know what you think. Okay, I was just thinking Delta City.
Delta City, because it's on a river delta.
Yeah, and it's just kind of the cool thing about it is like Delta is obviously where the river runs into the ocean. It's kind of like a triangle shape, sort of, right?
Okay.
But Delta is also the fourth letter in the Greek alphabet.
Yeah.
And it's like a triangle, or the uppercase version is triangle.
That's cool.
And so I thought kind of go with a bit of a triangle theme.
You know what? I like it. So a triangle shaped city called Delta City.
Yeah. And then anytime I think of a city name, I always want to look it up just to see if I'm ripping off like a major work.
Okay.
And then also depending on how generic the name is, you're more likely going to have a city, right?
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and it's a city in British Columbia, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Like I've been to Delta.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now that you say it. Huh. Okay. Well, let's rip that off.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a pretty basic name, so
yeah.
I don't think anybody will be too angry at us.
All right. Cool. So Delta City, it's a triangle shape. Is it walled?
I was thinking walled, yeah.
Okay.
Like, I thought either they would build it on like an island at the mouth of the river.
Okay.
Or like diverted the river to either side of it and then built on the delta.
Oh, okay, that's a cool idea.
Itself, and then had like kind of canals.
That's a really cool idea. I like that.
So it's like a Y shape coming out of and then like nice big walls. So it's really just commanding that mouth of that river.
Yeah. All right. So okay. Districts. How many districts do we want?
Well,
I want to say 4.
Oh, I was just going to say 4. You know why?
Because you could do them all triangle shaped.
Well, no.
Inside the triangle.
Wow. Oh, that's so smart. No, because, geez, that's
like a Triforce.
But no, because the reason I was thinking is because delta is like correlates with the number 4.
Oh, okay. Well, we came at it for 2 different reasons, but happy accident.
So we got this whole like triangle, the letter 4, some Greek stuff, some river stuff happening. I like it.
Yeah. Now, do we want it's like one solid piece, or is it like canals between the districts?
Well, since it is supposed to be delta and not like island city, why don't we make it canals?
Okay, so it's like more like canals at the mouth of this river in like the shape of a triangle, bunch of triangle shapes.
Like a triangle within a triangle.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then the canals separating each district.
Yeah, that's really cool.
All right, sweet.
So, and just one more thing on the triangle thing. I was thinking, remember the movie 300?
Yes.
They all have that like V on their shield.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, we could have that on all our shields. Be like a triangle. So like.
Cool. That's a good idea. Big triangle.
Yeah, that thing's called a lambda.
Triangles or something.
Yeah, or like the triangle with. Well, then that would just be the Triforce.
I mean, we could stylize it differently, but
that's true. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
But cool. So now, what were you gonna say?
Oh, okay. So, with 4 districts, what purpose does each serve? So, District 1, is probably an administration / like upper class district.
Yeah. Okay. This isn't a fully thought out thing, but what if we used our 4 out of our 5 reasons for having a city on a river as districts? Would that work? You know what I mean? Like, say we got rid of water as one of the things. That would be food, trade, defense, and power, or like industry. So you'd have like more of a food one, more of a trade one, more of a like kind of industrial one. I don't want to say industrial, but you know what I mean.
Okay.
And then more of a defensive one. Maybe that might, I don't know.
Well, what if
maybe okay, yeah, go ahead.
Because the defenses will be all around, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It'd be on all 4 would be defensive, right? So I was thinking like the very middle, if we draw out a triangle inside another triangle, the very middle one, which would be the most defensible, right, would be the upper class one probably, and where all the administrative like government type structures would be.
Yeah, correct. I like that a lot.
Right.
Yeah, so we got the upper class administration in the middle.
Yeah. So one of the ocean side ones.
Mm-hmm.
Or which way are we orienting this triangle?
I thought the 2 points would be like the 1 point would be towards the land, and then it would be like the flat edge of the triangle
is the coast.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So then one of those would be a major trade hub.
Yeah. The outside one, right?
One of the outside ones to towards the ocean.
Yeah. Well, let's just say it's like the south one, because if we're kind of north the way we thought we were, then everything would be probably south.
Okay.
Southerly from Delta City.
Okay.
Right. So if we make that one trade,
if we do the ocean, or not the ocean, the riverside one would be the industrial, like the artisan / craftsman.
Yeah, because the water would be a little faster there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that'd be the
like where you would get mills and stuff, right?
Yep.
And then the other one would be probably dedicated to food production.
Somehow.
Maybe there's farms on the north bank.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
And that's like where they come in on that point, maybe?
I like it.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a rough.
Yeah, it's a rough draft.
Done, though.
Cool. So Delta. What do you want to name these districts?
Okay. Well, should we just go with just like the English versions first?
Yeah, of course. So like there's 2 different ways like I like to do this. So either you name it literally, like this is the craftsman district, or this is the artisan district, or this is the trade district, or giving them more fancy names, I guess, is the other way to say it. So like in for example, my Port Aquila is like Northgate, Old Town, Aquilonia Plaza, right? But then some of them are still like Market Ward, Temple Ward.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do a mix then.
Yeah.
Like out of all the districts, which one do you think would be the best to name? Just a plain name.
Probably the craftsman one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
And like maybe the market one as well.
Yeah, market or trade district, like you even said.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can play off of the Triforce Delta kind of Greek river sort of thing we got going on?
Yeah, because I usually like to name like my like neighborhoods, quote unquote, specific like theme. So triangle.
we could just like make fun of like isosceles, equilateral. What's that other one? I'm just throwing things out there. We don't have to do that.
Equilateral.
Isometric.
Is that
what it is? I'm not a map or a triangle guy, so if somebody's yelling at me,
that's okay. I don't know. What do you want to call them? Like I'm looking at some of my maps, and in my Orcish city, I call them all valleys because they're in like separate little crooks. I call them crescents in my Elvish city because there's a whole like crescent moon type theme. We talked about Portaquilla. What other maps I got? I call them rings in my Imperial city because the whole thing is built on like different rings.
Yeah. I feel like, oh, I found it's scaling is the last one.
Okay.
I had to look it up. But I feel like these people, like everything looks pretty equal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got everything's even and in its place.
It doesn't have to be though. Like these triangles can be different sizes, right?
Yeah, true. But like they're the ones making it. I guess it depends on how much they like math.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good idea though. Like if anything, I think the smallest one should be like the middle one.
Yeah, definitely.
If we were to change like the sizing.
Okay. Well, how about we just like skip names for a second?
Okay.
Maybe we'll circle back, or we'll do it next episode because we're probably going to work on this again tomorrow, right? Or not tomorrow, next week.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So what I was thinking is let's talk about some other stuff.
Like, all right, cool. Well, what do you think? We'll think about those for the week, and we'll move on.
Like, what do you think these people trade in? You know, who are they? Like, they're downstream from
Clearwater Rush. Downstream from Bunny Log and Clearwater Crossing.
Yeah.
So they're probably getting in iron, stone, probably whatever they make up there, right? They're getting in. Probably sending up food, like grains.
Yeah, because we imagine putting that off. Right?
Imagine the area around this is probably very fertile.
Yep.
Right. So they're probably sending up like grains and stuff. They're probably receiving lumber, whatever exotic stuff, because they are on the ocean. So they're probably getting some form of exotic, whatever. I like the idea that they probably have lots of livestock out in these like farmlands.
Yeah, I was just thinking the food district would also probably be where the fishermen would come out.
Yeah.
Because I kind of forgot about them, right? Yeah. They're going to have some good fish in there. So that would be definitely where the fishmongers would be.
Yeah, like
that's probably do you think that would be where like say there was an open market? Like you said, you always like having a bazaar.
Yeah, so I thought we had like on the trade district itself, or do you want to merge that with the other one? It kind of seems like the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's probably, yeah, like, so let's say like the food production one is also the trade, like market one.
Yeah, because they're not making food there.
No, they're probably processing
just taking it there and then selling it.
And processing it, right?
Yeah.
So we got one more district. What's that for?
I thought you were going to say, what's that about?
Maybe that last district could be a military installation.
Okay.
Of some kind, like that's maybe where like whatever fort is, or like there's walls all around, but like that's where the big fort would be, maybe.
Yeah, I just had thought.
Or barracks.
What about? Do you think these people would have triremes? Because it's like triangle, triremes.
I like it.
Greek. You know, a little on the nose, but it's still a real thing. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Do you like going kind of the Greekish theme, or?
I do really like the Greekish theme.
Because they would have, like, we can just call the middle one the Acropolis.
Yeah.
We can make it like a little bit higher. And then we can call the market one like the Agora.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kind of gives us two of the more thematic names.
Yeah.
And then we can have the artisan district.
The Forum.
Or isn't the Forum more of a political thing?
It's more Roman actually. Yeah, I like it. So what kind of structure of government do you think they have? Do they have a king, and do they have like a council?
I feel like they would have to have like the republic, like a little bit of that democracy going on, like early democracy, not the way we would think of it, right? But
yeah,
a small council, and then maybe from time to time there's a tyrant that rises to power.
Yeah,
and then they're just always trying to get back to the republic, like, get this guy out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that. Cool.
Okay, so we got a lot done there on Old Delta City, quite a bit there.
Perfect.
Fast, eh?
Yeah, that was pretty quick. I'm just looking at the time, and so what we're gonna do, I think, is we're going to put that on pause, and we're going to do a part 2 next week, and talk about more specific names and more specific like we'll build actual like inns and businesses and stuff to pop in.
Put some people in there.
Week. Yeah, and we'll talk a bit more about cities. But I wanted to ask you, Greg, about your weekly inspiration.
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked. My weekly inspiration is a pretty simple one this week. It is Google Earth.
Okay.
I was working on my overall world map.
Yeah.
Like I said, and I just wanted to see, like, because remember I was working on those biomes, that biome map, and then I finished my map, and I thought it looked too constructed, I guess.
Okay.
Or like, it almost looked more like a painting, kind of, because I was just kind of trying to make everything flow into everything else.
Okay.
Or I was kind of going that way. So then I went on Google Earth to see, like, okay, let's see how it actually looks. And it looks like that, but like 10 times more. Like, it actually looks, I don't know, it looks incredible. I don't know. Have you been on Google Earth lately?
Not in a long time.
No, me neither. I hadn't been on it since like when it first came out. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. So I'd say that definitely helped me work out on my map a bit.
Yeah.
But also just like anybody who wants to look at the way, landforms actually kind of transition into one another, and rain shadows and all that. I mean, it's just right there. It's really cool. And so, yeah, I'd have to say it's Google Earth.
That's awesome.
How about you?
Yeah, so I was yesterday while I was I've been converting our audio files into videos for YouTube. Mm-hmm. And while I was doing that, I was waiting because I can't really do anything else, and I can't let my computer go to sleep mode while it's doing that, otherwise it fails. So I was building a Gundam last night, a Gundam model. And I was having a lot of fun because he's a like real beefy guy. And I was thinking like, man, I was thinking more about like the bounty hunter idea I had the other week, and then how that would fit into my story.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at this guy, making me think of like different things that he could be, good at, or like a team of them or something. So yeah, that's kind of what I was doing. That was my inspiration.
And what did you get with it? I want to know.
Well, I'm not going to tell you because it's going to come up.
Oh, okay, right. Obviously, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the trouble with having you play in my game. I can't tell you all the things.
All the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
The other thing I wanted to mention is that again, yeah, I'm gonna shout out. We are launching a YouTube channel. So you won't find the new episodes right away on there. We're going to do 2 episodes a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, until we catch up. So we should be caught up by the end of December to current. That way there's another avenue for people to access and listen to our podcast.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Perfect. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
No, I don't know. Just can't wait to get back and do this in person, but
Yeah, of course. That's hopefully soon. I want to say thank you everyone for listening. I know we really appreciate it. An hour of your time a week is a lot to ask. But we really appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate it when you guys give us a share or a like or anything really helps us out. We're having fun, and I hope you guys are too. I hope everyone's staying safe, and we'll all get through this.
Yeah, no, likewise.